God, tell me I'm dreaming. Newcastle, wow. What have I just watched? Coke. It was like all the players on bloody coke because that performance was absolutely unreal. Eddie Howe, St James's Park, the Saudis coming together, a football club which has so quickly reached the top level, and they smack PSG. The Farmers League, they tweeted out, or whatever it was, when Lens beat Arsenal, where your top dogs, Mbappe and co, have been absolutely mauled by Eddie Howe's Newcastle boys. That was unreal. What a performance. I cannot believe what I just watched. Just the start was amazing. It's just how Newcastle play at home. They're on you like a flash. And it was a mistake eventually from Marquinhos, which led to the first goal. Isak's shot is saved. And then Miggy, the boy who's really got a purple patch going again at the moment this year, scores their first goal. And it absolutely erupts. The black and white flags are going everywhere. And the Geordie boys take the lead of 1-0. And it doesn't stop there because they really kept the pressure on. You know, against AC Milan, they didn't create chances. And I think the home advantage really helped them this time at St James's Park. You know, they got the draw in AC Milan and now they've just carried on. You know, it's given them a bit of confidence and they needed this win. They needed something big and they got it because then Dan Burn in, like, I don't know what it was, 30th minute, it's bouncing around everywhere and he gets his head on it. I thought Donnarumma saved it, but it eventually got given. That was an absolute sort of calamity, really, because VAR checked, I think, the handball or the offside. It could have maybe bounced off Bruno's arm, I think, or Lascelles, I think it was. But in the end, the goal was given, and Dan Burn celebrates like the Jude Bellingham. Unbelievable there. And Newcastle were in dreamland. 2-0 against PSG, who, you know, people say it's a group of death, and they're 2-0 up. They didn't lose to AC Milan. Incredible performance. Obviously, I've got VAR and stuff. They had some controversy over the weekend of the Prem. The Prem VAR is so much shitter compared to Champions League and stuff. Like, the conversation got released. That conversation is woeful. How they realised they got the decision wrong and then still went ahead and, like, didn't give the goal. I don't really want to talk about that, but Liverpool fans should feel hard done by. It's always been like this. I think VAR is sort of protecting mates, sort of, as I said in my other video, but it is what it is. The audio's been released, and unfortunately, I think a replay won't happen, but they're an absolute shambles, all of them Prem referees. But we're back to Europe, baby. 2-0. Newcastle fans are in dreamland. Half-time, they're loving it. They're probably the best game of their lives, you know, for most of them. They were fighting relegation, and now they're 2-0 up against PSG, and it didn't stop there. Some changes were made by Eddie Howe. PSG had a few chances, but this team once was Messi, Neymar and Mbappe, and Mbappe stayed. Messi and Neymar got out of there because they realised how much of a mess it was. The players that they've let go and stuff like this is just unreal. They've tried to rebuild it with Moani and Dembele, but at the moment, it's not working. They got that third goal. Wow. What a goal by Matty Longstaff. PSG just switched off. One ball by Trippier through the centre. Longstaff smashed it in. Donnarumma, that one should have done better. He had a couple of saves which were decent, but that one was absolutely woeful. Terrible by him, and Newcastle exploded. It's 3-0. A big performance from them, you know. It's unbelievable, unprecedented. No one expected this. Then they're looking to top the group. They are top of the group at the moment. 4 points in their last 2. It's unbelievable. Obviously, everything could change, but I'm not even a Newcastle fan, and I was loving it. PSG getting absolutely mauled by Newcastle, the Giants. They're not here to just have fun and like be in the Champions League as like a vacation. They're there to take over and destroy. Wow. 3-0. And then PSG did respond quickly with Hernandez, I think it was. You know, they got the goal, and then it's a little bit of uncertainty in it. Can Newcastle test their resolve? Can they hold on? Can they still play the way they are? And of course, they played decently. They know how to keep a defensive block and keep the ball out the back of the net. There was a few chances where Mbappe was, you know, circling around, but there weren't like a massive save like Nick Pope had to pull out. And at the end, the beast at the back, number 5, he's always got it in his locker. Fabian Schar whips it top right. He slipped, but who cares, because he wins the game 4-1, and that's a thrashing. PSG didn't just lose to Newcastle. They got absolutely thrashed by the Geordie boys. Alan Shearer loving it. If I'm a bloody Geordie fan and I went to that game, call me boss up. I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm getting in the pub drinking, because that is one of the best results in history. Like a new big PSG giant, you know, taking over all this money. Newcastle have slowly crept up from fighting relegation, while PSG have still been at this stage trying to win the Champions League, got into the Champions League themselves and have beaten PSG What an absolute achievement by the owners, by Eddie Howe. Praise must be given. Unreal performance by them. I can't say anymore. They must be ecstatic. Enjoy it, Newcastle fans, because you've got Dortmund next, and that could be just as big. As long as St James's Park is bouncing, Newcastle have a chance to win. That home advantage is massive, and it's like all the big stadiums, like I think Villa Park now. Hopefully in the Conference League we can get something at home, you know, get behind the players. It really helps, and PSG were intimidated. They used to playing at these bloody French places. They ain't got much history, they ain't got much, well, their fan base isn't as like sort of together, if you know what I mean, as strong and big and loud. And Newcastle invited PSG in. Welcome to St James's Park. They got absolutely mauled, and the flags were flying everywhere. Eddie Howe, Dan Burn, everyone take a bow, because that was special. PSG mauled in England. Bye-bye Mbappe. He can go eat a snail with a sad face back in Paris. He's made an absolute mistake staying there and should have just go to Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham is like has had double the exposure, double the player that he's been by making that move to Real Madrid. And Mbappe had the option so many times, at least twice, and he stayed at that stupid club, and he's been punished for it. But Newcastle deserve all the credit. That was fantastic. Every player, wow, what a game. That is probably one of the games of the season already, and the Champions League's only just starting. So I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Here we go. Rocking all over the world. Alan Shearer, Newcastle, they're loving this Champions League game. They have just smashed PSG.